Hello, Christy. Nice to meet you today. I am going to be your counselor for this sessions. I'm gonna introduce myself a little bit. I am Yue Yuan. You can also call me Bella. My pronouns is she and her. I'm come from China, but currently I'm living in Victoria because I am a UVic student. I need to go to campus for classes. And just that you know that since I'm still a student, I will be providing these counseling sessions in a basic manner.
No, that's perfect. Thank you for introducing yourself. My name is Christy, and I also go by she and her. I live in Calgary, and I immigrated to Canada when I was 6. So I was originally born in China as well. And I'm excited to have the session with you.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's the weekend, so it's nice.
Yeah, today is a holiday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. So before we start, I would like to give you some information about our documents. Do you have a chance to look at the intake form and consent form?
Yes, I did. I filled out both of the forms. The consent and intake forms are very thorough. Thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you so much. And then I would like you to know that our confidentiality a policy. So everything you share with me in these sessions will be 100% confidential. It's not going anywhere. It's just kept between you and me. Our professor might have to look at our video for academic purposes, but other than that, your information will be very confidential. And if I have to legally provide the confidential information, I have to disclose information. But other than that, your information will be very confidential. Do you have any questions about that?
No, that was really good. Thank you.
Yeah. And I will also let you to know that I want to provide a safe and professional counseling environment for you to share about your thoughts. So there will not be no judgment made. If you don't want to talk about something, that's okay. We can talk about it later. Do you have any questions?
No, that was really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to tell you what our sections will be about. We will have like about 5 sessions, and the first session, which is today's session, I will gather some specific information about you to get to know you. And then in our second session, we will choose the problems to work with. In our third session, we will prioritize a problem to work with. And in the fourth session, we will set the goals for your daily task. And in our last session, which is closure, we will be reviewing your achievement and reinforce the plans.
Thank you so much for outlining it. That makes it very clear to me.
Thank you. So today I will be getting some preliminary background information about you. So today I'm going to get to know you and ask you some questions about your life problems. I will be also getting some information about the specific concerns that brought you to counseling. Is that okay?
Yes, that would be great.
What brings you today, Christy?
I got, yes, sorry, continue.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I got a referral from my friend that I should try counseling when I was talking to her about my issues. So I decided to try this out.
Wow, that sounds good. You have any counseling experience before?
I have gone to a counselor before in the past, just to talk about other issues, but that was a few years ago. And now I just have some other things that bother me instead.
Oh, what are the problems that are bothering you right now?
Um, I was under a bit of stress a few months ago, and I picked up the bad habit of smoking. And since then, I've been smoking quite often. And I've started talking to my friends about it. Uh, and they told me that counseling might be a good way to see if I can get get rid of the habit. And then apart from that, I've also talked with my friends, and I feel like I don't connect with people as much as I should be able to. And that ends up leading me to not want to meet people a lot. And I'm often doing things by myself instead. And then I just feel lonely sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, let me take some notes. As I understand, the first problem is, first issue is your smoking issue, and you wanted to find ways to stop your smoking habit. And the second issue is the inability to connect with people. You're the one that meets people a lot, so you do things by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Um, Okay, let's go through the issue one by one. Firstly, about your smoking habit. So how much does this habit interfere with your everyday functioning?
I've noticed that since I started smoking, it started very gradually, and it was only about like once a day. But now I have to go outside about 6, 7 times in a day. And I always have to find a place by myself that allows smoking. And because I do work, I feel that it has started to interfere with my life. Um, it's made it so that I can't concentrate fully on my job. And then if I'm also doing schoolwork, I also have to go outside out of my way to go smoke. I would say that overall it is definitely interfering in my life. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you smoke too often a day, 6 to 7 times, and when you wanna smoke during work and school, you have to go out to find a smoking-free place.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
Um, and I've also noticed that my friends and family are disapproving of this habit as well. It's very much frowned upon, and I think there are some friends that I have that no longer see me as often because they don't want to be around stuff like that. So it has caused me to lose a few friends. And when I talk to them about it, we completely disagree on the topic, so that there's a lot of conflict, and then it leads to arguments sometimes. And my family as well, when they found out, they were also very disapproving. Um, and that has caused me to be more distant with my family. And I no longer share some aspects of my life with them either.
So your smoking habit kind of affect your relationship with your friends and your family.
Yes.
Okay. So how does this issue manifest itself?
Um,
Or
this
what are the feelings, thoughts associated
mm,
with this behavior?
it makes me feel ashamed of myself. Uh, I feel that I really should be able to stop it. And I understand logically that it's also something I shouldn't be doing at all. But somehow I feel like I'm addicted. And whenever I'm stressed, I feel the need to go out and do that. Um, it used to be less of an issue because I wasn't so stressed with everything else. Um, and then when I did go smoke, I felt better. But now, even when I'm less stressed, I still feel like I need to do it, which I find to be very shameful. And I feel guilty as well because it has interfered with some of my friendships. And relating to my family, I see it as it being an issue I see it as being my fault as well. So I think overall it has caused me anxiety, and I feel like I'm not doing as much as I should be able to.
In other words, you feel addicted and ashamed at the same time when you smoke. You cannot control yourself. You don't want to smoke that much, but you are very obsessed with it.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, what are some factors that affect this? How do you say? Um, so, what are the reasons that cause your smoking habit at the first place? And
I
why did you start smoking?
um I think the main reason at the beginning was that I was under a lot of stress, and I had one friend who used to smoke, and she was my best friend, so we met up a lot, and because she was doing it and she told me to try it, and I was very curious, I tried it as well. And then since trying it, at the time it didn't grow on me as much. I didn't think I needed it at that much, so I rarely did it. But then I went traveling, and when I went traveling, I met a lot of new people. And because it was all in the same environment of traveling and we were all having fun, we would drink a lot and we ended up smoking a lot as well. And it was just these new people that I met while traveling that I was with all the time, which caused me to start smoking more, because it was seen as an okay thing. Nobody had any issues with it. It was very socially acceptable. And I decided I was fine as well. And because I thought in my mind that, oh, I'm only traveling for right now and it's not going to, I'm going to be going home soon. So I can do this now. And when I go home, I will no longer be smoking. But the problem was that even after I came home, I continued my bad habit. And then it started affecting my life more.
Yeah. Okay. As I understand, the reason why you start smoking at first was that you were very stressed and smoking made you feel better, and also there's just a second. Okay. And another reason is that your friends were kind of affect you to smoke. You are with your friends and that create a kind of acceptable atmosphere of smoking. But when you go home, the home environment is not smoking free. So, so your behavior, as I understand, is affected by your friends and your family, your home environment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think so you talked about your second issue, which is the inability to connect with people. How do you think your smoking habit related to this issue? Do you see any association there?
I think there is a small correlation. I don't think it's directly related, but there's a little bit. Overall, I think even growing up, I never connected very, very well with people. And that was mainly because growing up, I grew up with my dad, and my mom was in China, and I was in Canada with my dad. As the primary parent, my dad and I weren't very close, mostly because he was working all the time. And in Chinese culture, I feel that usually it's the mom that's more connected with the children. And that was how my dad was raised, and he raised me the same way. So even though he was there as a dad, he wasn't there on an emotional level, which I feel like ended up stunting my own growth, my own emotional growth as a child, and we never fully connected emotionally. So from that, as an adult, I believe that I was never able to connect super well with others in general. And because of that, a lot of my friends and I, we were close, but it seemed to me that there was still a bridge that I wasn't able to cross. Even though we were close, we were just never fully connected emotionally in that way. I feel that I've seen that in some of my relationships as well. It's very hard for me to connect romantically. Even in romantic relationships, it's very hard for me to fully connect with my partner, and it takes a very long time, I've noticed. And then with the rest of my family, the rest of my relatives, it's the same way. There's always family that I feel, because I think for my family, at least for Chinese families, for mine, most of my relatives are pretty close, tight knitted, and we rely on each other a lot. But it seems like just me personally, I wasn't able to very much connect with them on a deeper level. And it seemed a lot of it was very surface level. And I've noticed that that has gotten worse after they found out that I picked up the bad habit of smoking, because then they started to judge me more and I felt more closed off with them. Um, and the same thing with some of my friends, not all, but some of them, they also disapprove of that habit. And it has caused our relationship to deteriorate even more, on top of not having been super close and not being able to connect emotionally before that.
So the picture I get is that the like fundamental reason of your inability to connect with people is um, your grow up environment with your dad. Your experience remind me of the attachment theory at the Suwasi class. The theory says that the way you socialize with your caregiver affect your relationship with other people. You are not emotionally connect to your dad, so that might lead you to have affected social skill with other people. So that's why you feel distant from your relatives and your friends. On top of this issue, your smoking habit make this issue worse because your friends and your family member have a reason to judge you. Do I understand correctly?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. It's a hard issue. It's kind of it's hard to deal with because your problem is rooted in your home environment.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's why I feel like the first thing I should focus on is trying to quit smoking, because that is fully affecting my life in the present day with my work and school and everything that I am doing right now, versus the relationships that I have with people. They are definitely important, but in this stage in life, I feel like I'm trying to get my schoolwork done and my projects and try to make money, to buy things and just live. And um, because those things are being affected, I feel like I'm more stressed out and anxious about everyday things, when that's an issue.
Yeah, you feel stressed because the smoking habit affects many aspects of your life, including your work, your school, and your relationship with others.
Yeah, I think you're right,
Hmm.
for sure.
So about your second issue, how does your inability to connect with people I think you already talked about that. Yeah, I wanted to ask how much does this issue interfere with your everyday functioning And as I understand it, you said that you feel very distant from them.
Yeah.
You cannot share your real thoughts with your family members, and you don't want to go out with your friends, right?
Yeah. And it has also impacted my romantic relationships as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel an inability to fully emotionally commit myself to a relationship. I feel that it takes a long time before I am fully there in any kind of relationship. And then sometimes by then, the other person that is a part of the relationship, they're no longer interested. And I feel like I have to work so much harder in any kind of relationship that I have with people. And it's not that I want to do that, but it kind of just manifests itself without me being fully aware of it at times. And this causes me to be unable to share some of my deeper feelings with others. And because of that, I think some of my friends feel like I'm being distant when I'm not purposely doing that. And I've lost one or two friends because of that as well.
So as I understand, your smoking and your smoking habit and your um, or you're saying that you don't feel comfortable with like sharing your deeper feeling with your close ones because of the smoking problem and their attitude toward your smoking habit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are the thoughts, feelings associated with it?
Um, I I feel sad. Um, is this about the smoking issue? Because I think I told you about my thoughts and feelings towards that already.
Yeah. It's um,
I think we haven't talked about how I felt um
ability.
about being, yeah, about my inability to
Yeah.
connect. So if it's with that, then I that I feel a lot more sad about because I feel that relationships are such a crucial part of life, and it has such a big impact on our well-being. Um, and I don't feel supported because I don't connect with people as well. And it also makes me feel lonely because um, I'm I'm so distant with people. And for this, I don't fully know if it's my problem completely or if it's also the person that I'm with. Sometimes I start blaming others about it because I feel that they should be putting in more effort to connect with me as well. Um, and then sometimes I get angry about that too, because my dad doesn't put in the effort to try to connect with me. And in the past, we've talked about it briefly as well, and he never really fully admitted that growing up, it was his fault, because he didn't see it that way. He saw that he was providing for me physically, and he was working and making money so that I could live comfortably, that he did his job as a parent, and he has different expectations about what roles a parent should have than me. And with that, I feel angry over that relationship. Yeah.
Just a second. Thank you for sharing me about your thoughts. I really appreciate that. I think it can be painful to share this kind of like negative experience. And I think you did a really good job identifying your feelings, emotions. You have a really good self-awareness about yourself, which can allow you to better control your own mindset and turn it into something positive. So yeah, I really appreciate that. As I understand, you were saying that you feel very sad, angry, not being supported, lonely, and distant because you value relationship in your life, but now your close ones are kind of distant from you, and especially your dad doesn't put the effort connecting to you emotionally because of his own perspective of parenting.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, let me looking at the time. We are at the end of the session right now. So I would like to close our session by summarizing our sessions. Let me check your issues here. Okay, I acknowledge the connection between your two issues. Your smoking habit affect your relationship with others, which impede your inability to connect with people. And your feelings include anger, sadness, distant, and then as I understand, your rationale for seeking counseling at this time is to address your smoking habit. You wanna focus on smoking problem so you can get back to a normal life of work and school, and you can cross the bridge of smoking problem when you interact with your family, and your friends.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you for listening. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I really enjoy our conversation, Christy, and I really appreciate you share so much information about your personal life. So yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully we will meet next week to discuss more other problems.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.